alte Keks, 7, 8, gute Nacht, Einfall, Polizei, 3, 4, Grenadier, 5, 6, alte Keks, 7, 8, gute Nacht, Einfall, Polizei, 3, 4, Grenadier, 5, 6, alte Keks, 7, 8, gute Nacht, Einfall, Polizei, 3, 4, Grenadier, 5, 6, alte Keks, 7, 8, gute Nacht.
You are listening to Däs Bündesliga Show here on the Lock Betting Podcast. If you want to sign up for the premium plays, head over to lockbetting.com. That's also where you can check out the P&L spreadsheets that accumulate to 135 months in a row of transparent and track profit. So we are going to be covering 5 of the 9 Bundesliga games going down this weekend. We are going to begin with Bayern Munich's trip to Werder Bremen, where Bayern, off the back of a 9-2 win in the Champions League, are the 1-3 favourites. It's 9-2 on the draw, and it's 6-1 here on Werder Bremen. Difficult to make any case for Werder Bremen at the moment because Bayern Munich have been an absolute machine as of late. When you're coming off a 9-2 win and a demolition job the weekend before, you really just want to get behind this Bayern Munich team. Bremen are unbeaten though so far this season. They have 1 win from the first 3 and 2 draws, so a 5-point return so far. But Bayern Munich, 3 wins out of 3, a +8 goal differential, a +7 win in the Champions League in midweek, and I think they'll just have too much firepower for Werder Bremen here to get around the short price of 1-3 -300, because obviously we're not just going to take that. We can tack on the over 2.5 goals, which gives us a bump up here to 7-10. Bayern could score those 3 goals themselves, or we could get a Werder Bremen contribution because Bayern Munich's backline still isn't solid, which is why they still conceded 2 goals while scoring 9 in midweek. Both teams have scored in 4 of the last 5 Werder Bremen games, but Bayern Munich have seen over 2.5 goals in 8 of the last 9. Werder have also seen over 2.5 goals in 4 of the last 5. Bayern Munich have no losses in 11. They have 9 straight wins. They've scored the first goal in 7 of the last 7 matches. They've scored first in 4 of the last 5 against Werder Bremen, and 4 of the last 5 meetings between Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich have seen over 2.5 goals scored. So strong data for the add-on, and that's how we will begin the show. Moving on to the late game tonight, it's Eintracht Frankfurt hosting Borussia Mönchengladbach, where Frankfurt are the 4-5 favourites to win at home. It's 3-1 on the draw, and it's also the same price on Gladbach, which is 3-1. This is the type of game that you would expect Eintracht Frankfurt to win. They are the better side here. Gladbach are coming off a disappointing season, and we're hoping to be stronger this time out. But for me, Frankfurt is a difficult task for a Gladbach side who have already started with 2 defeats from their first 3. Whilst Frankfurt, they have 1 defeat from their first 3 and have 2 wins and are sitting just outside of the top 5. So decent start for them. I expect them to carry on winning, and therefore this is a good price at 45 -125. Frankfurt have only lost 1 of their last 10 home Bundesliga matches, winning their only home game of the season so far. So when they've been at home, they've won it. They have enough quality, in my opinion, to see off a Gladbach team who've only won 2 of their last 10 Bundesliga away games if you stretch it back to last season. So poor travellers versus a strong home team. So a somewhat easy pick here for me on Frankfurt at a solid price. We move across to Sunday and we look at Bayer Leverkusen, who tonked Feyenoord in the Champions League. We were hoping for just 1 Feyenoord goal for our free play. We would have got a better price on over 3.5 goals, which cashed before the half. And Feyenoord weren't able to get a goal in the last 45 minutes, even though Leverkusen were playing defensively and just trying to see out the clock. So prevent, if that exists in football, a prevent type of defence. And Feyenoord weren't able to score despite mustering up a number of shots. So disappointing for us and a rare clean sheet for Leverkusen. They're the 1-3 favourites at home to Wolfsburg. It's 9-2 on the draw and it's 8-1 here on Wolfsburg. I can't really make too much of a case for Leverkusen keeping back-to-back clean sheets, but just in case they do, we'll take Leverkusen with over 2.5 goals tacked on instead of Leverkusen and BTTS, although I am expecting a Wolfsburg contribution towards the scoring. Leverkusen sit in 5th place in the table. They've won 2 of their first 3, and of course they had that shock defeat against RB Leipzig in a game that they did dominate. So I would still classify this as a decent start to the season, while Wolfsburg have won 1 out of 3 and have 2 defeats already to their name. There have been 3+ goals already in all but one of Bayer Leverkusen's half a dozen outings this season, and they've won 4 of the last 5 matches, while Wolfsburg, as I mentioned, have lost 2 in 3 attempts in the Bundesliga, with both defeats featuring 3 or more goals. So we're going to take Leverkusen. We do think that Wolfsburg will score, but we'll take the over 2.5 goals to be safer, and that bumps it up to the same price that we got the Bayern Munich bump up at 7-10. So same-ish moneyline price, same-ish, same bump up, and the same result, not same-ish, same result, 7-10. Up next, we're looking at Stuttgart versus Borussia Dortmund. This is probably the game of the weekend in Germany, and it's closely priced, but Stuttgart are the favourites at 5-4. It's 2-1 on Dortmund, and it's 11-4 here on the draw. Stuttgart finished well ahead of Dortmund last season, but Dortmund have gained some key pieces while Stuttgart have lost them, and that includes Stuttgart's main striker. Guirassy has gone over to Borussia Dortmund, and Stuttgart, they did well, really well, against Real Madrid in midweek. They did suffer a 3-1 reversal, but they were on top at 1-1. And as people that have backed Real Madrid, we were concerned that Stuttgart were going to blow some of our plays, but they didn't. All 6 of Stuttgart's League and Cup matches this season have featured 3+ goals, including that 3-1 in midweek against Real Madrid, whilst Dortmund, they were more comfortable. They won 3-0 against Club Brugge in the same competition. And this was the 3rd time in 5 outings that there have been 3 or more goals in their games. So I think Dortmund are a live dog here. I think they could win this game, as Stuttgart have conceded 3 goals on 3 occasions already this season, and I feel that Dortmund will be able to come up with a game plan to set up to beat them. Obviously, conceding 3 goals to Real is acceptable away, but maybe not so much to Freiburg. And Dortmund, they look good in midweek. They shut out Club Brugge, and I feel they're in a better position here to win the game. So it's worth looking at Dortmund here as a pick, which gives you draw protection. You can get Borussia Dortmund as a pick here at 13-10 plus 130, best price, more widely available at 65 plus 120. Or another way to play this game would be to take the over 2.5 goals with BTTS tacked on. Both plays individually at around about the minus 200 mark, but if you put them together, you can get 4-5 minus 125. And I do feel that both teams will find the net in this one, with ultimately Dortmund winning a high-scoring game. The final game we cover is the last game on Sunday, is St. Pauli hosting Leipzig, where Leipzig go here as an 8-13 favourite. It's 3-1 on the draw, and it's 17-4 here on St. Pauli. I'm not been impressed with Leipzig so far this season, even though they got that big win that everyone's talking about because it ended Leverkusen's run. They have been very, very goal shy, and they were 1-0 up against Atletico Madrid in midweek, but Atletico Madrid then managed to come back and win 2-1, and they deserved to because they were the ones pushing for the goals in that game. So this is a Leipzig team who need to really go off. They need a result, and this could be the one here against St. Pauli. This gives them an opportunity to get their shooting boots on, and I'm confident that Leipzig will pick up the win. If you want to get away from the short 8-13 price, if you take this to -1, this jumps up to just shy of even money plus 100. So you can get it at 19-20, returning 195 from 100. This pushes if Leipzig only win by a single goal, but you win your bet if they win by 2 goals or more. And I do think this is a good game for Leipzig to get right in the goal-scoring department. So St. Pauli are poor. They head into this fixture pointless in the league this season, losing 3 times and twice by a margin of 2+ goals. So good opportunity for Leipzig here. They've already beaten Leverkusen on the road this season, as we mentioned. They do usually love scoring on their travels, and they did so. They have done so 21 times across the last 7 Bundesliga away fixtures. So good opportunity here for for Leipzig against a team on a three-match losing streak against the Leipzig team who has scored 4 times across their 2 league victories. But obviously, they have been held. They were held last weekend against Union Berlin at home. So that was a disappointing result. And they're coming off a loss against Atletico Madrid as well. So 2 disappointing results entering this, but a real get-right game here against the Sao Paulo team who, at the start of the season, we tipped for relegation. That seems to be moving in the right direction. The German league has a good rate of survival for teams coming up and staying in the league. But we identified 2 teams who would really struggle with that this season, and that has proven to be the case. We take Leipzig -1 here as our final selection at the price of 19 to 20. That's it for me and this edition of Däs Bundesliga Show. Good luck with all your bets as always, guys, and thanks for listening.